All right, folks. Hi there. This is our first ever asynchronous lesson because today, Friday, the 21st, is a 7th grade supplies day at Denman with some tech help and all kinds of stuff, cleaning out your lockers. I know that not everybody might be able to be here. So, in case you can't be, here's an asynchronous lesson. So, for today, our introductions for attendance would have been all about what you like to watch, right? We'd still be getting used to saying our names. Um, so my example was, hi, my name is Miss M. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm obsessed with The Office, which is totally true. So there's our example. I'm bummed that I can't hear everybody else's, but maybe we'll have to have that as a prompt next week. So um, this is the same slide that I showed on Tuesday, but I wanted to clarify that on Wednesdays, when I do have to take attendance still, even though we're not together, I will be assigning some kind of thing for you to turn in before 3 o'clock. Now, this came up yesterday, so I want to clarify. The time is not so that you are punished for doing it later. Absolutely not. Um, they have given us the instruction that we should not take any kind of attendance on our system until after 3 o'clock because they want students to be able to do things all day long and not worry about doing them in any kind of class order or anything. And so at 3 o'clock is when I'll go through Google Classroom and see, okay, this person responded. I got an email from this person. This person commented something. Okay. So I can see who's done things and who hasn't. And then the thing is that after 3 o'clock, um, to be able to just see who replies and who doesn't. Anything submitted after 3, again, just because that's when they asked us to check attendance. Anybody who submits it late, I get a little report thing that says so and so submitted an assignment. And so it's literally just to help me keep track and make sure that I'm not missing people who are submitting things later in the evening when I'm not looking at attendance at 8 p.m. because like I have a life and I'm hopefully like getting ready for bed and watching Netflix or something at that time. So it just sends me a reminder and then I can go quickly and update attendance rather than check my turn-ins 3 or 4 times all afternoon and try and remember who did I mark present, who didn't I, who haven't I heard from. So that's literally the reason why it's 3 o'clock. Even if you do it at 4, that's totally fine. 5, fine. 7, fine. But I just needed to have there be a cutoff. So I apologize for not explaining that sooner, but that's why on Wednesdays there's a cutoff. It's not an actual cutoff. It's literally just so your teacher doesn't go crazy spending her entire life Wednesday afternoon trying to figure out who she marked here or not. So I wanted to let y'all know that and just wanted to clarify. Our norms, we're going to work on rewriting these next week. So keeping appropriate backgrounds on, starting with video on, making sure we're using respectful, responsible language, being safe and positive, not drawing on the screen or spamming the chat. So far, so good. So let's keep it up. And then all of the assignments and resources are under the, at this point, week 1 tab, and they will be changed to week 2 moving forward. So next Tuesday, everything will be posted under a week 2 topic. And then today's lesson is all about corroboration. And corroboration is the idea that multiple pieces of evidence from different people can support each other. So what I mean is, well, here's an example, and I'll look at the screen and read it with you. Imagine that you are the principal of a school and you just found out that there was a fight in the lunchroom during lunch. You've asked many students and teachers who witnessed the fight to write down what they saw and who they think started the fight. Unfortunately, you've received many conflicting accounts that disagree not only as to who started the fight, but also as to who was involved and when the fight even started. It's important to remember that no one is lying. Okay, real talk. In real life, somebody's going to be probably trying to make sure they're not getting in trouble. But for this scenario, let's say everybody thinks they're telling the true version of the story. Let's just pretend that. And let's pretend like whatever place that we are, I don't know, at that school that you're the pretend principal of doesn't have cameras or they're not working. So there's no like, oh, I'm gonna just check the cameras kind of thing. No, it doesn't work. We're just saying it doesn't work. Don't worry about it. Nobody's lying, but the cameras don't work. So once you start to talk to people, they're telling you some different things. Why would there be different stories of the event if no one is just plain lying? What are the different types of people who may have seen the fight? Like, who are you getting these stories from? And what might make one person's story more believable or plausible than another person's story? And the link to the Jamboard, the way that we will be discussing this, is by putting our answers to these questions on a Jamboard. Now, Jamboard is like signed on through Google. It's part of the Google like apps. If you're having trouble logging in with it, just leave a comment on this Google Classroom like not assignment. What is it? Material post where this video will be posted. Leave just a little comment with your answers. But a Jamboard is something that looks like this. So I'm going to try and stop sharing that, but I am still screen sharing. So this is what it looks like. And you're going to flip over to second period. So using this little tab at the top, you're going to flip over. Oh, that was something my first period made for me. Period 2, right? It says period 2 in the corner. Then you're going to make a post-it note or a little sticky note for each of these questions with your answer. So you can change the color of the sticky. So for question 1 over here that's yellow, make your sticky yellow, make your sticky green, or make your sticky blue. And then you're going to write out your answer to your question. So answer, and then, write out the whole thing and then put your name. Once it posts, you're going to drag it nearby that question, and it's the same color, so I'll be able to tell, even if there's so many people that your yellow one needs to be closer to the green. And you can make it smaller if you need to make sure it fits. Later on, I will be able to make it bigger to see what you wrote. So no big deal. But if this isn't working for you, like it's not, I don't know, it's just not working, like the login is having an issue, just comment your answer to the questions. And once again, those questions are right here. It's loading. Why would there be different stories? Who's telling you the information? And why is one person more believable than another? So if we're trying to figure out what really happened, who are we going to blame for this whole fight? We're going to use our first historical thinking skill, probably the most important one too, is corroboration. And corroboration is where you're using more than one source to be able to back up your analysis of something. And it's something we use all the time in history. Historians have to use it. And basically what it does is thinks about, from 7th grade, we will be talking about the Aztecs in the next few weeks. Really, really excited. It's going to be an awesome civilization to study. If we're talking about the Aztecs, we're not just trying to read things written by Spanish people who came to colonize. We're going to try and find some sources about the Aztecs written by people who are Aztec, right? So we want two different sides of a story in order to try and get the real, true story, right? We want more than one side, more than one perspective. So that's what corroboration is. And that's what we need to use today. And we've got these three student stories. So student number 1 is Justin. And that student says, this kid Max says, Max started it. I was just standing in line waiting to pay for my food, and he shoved me super hard, and for no reason. He just freaked out on me. I don't even know the kid, and he's been weird to me ever since I started going to this school. Him and his friends glare at me in English class for no reason. Okay, so student number 1, Justin, says this kid Max did it. Well, student number 2, Max, guess what? He says Justin did it. Justin is a psycho. He turned around and punched me out of nowhere. Me and my friends were standing in line, just joking around, and he turned around and punched me for no reason. He's messed up and creepy. Ask anyone. So, student number 1 says Max did it. Student number 2 says Justin did it. And now we have student number 3, Jamie. And the cool thing is that Jamie starts to balance out our story. She says, I wasn't in the cafeteria today, and I'm not friends with any of those guys. But I've seen Max and his friends be mean to Justin in the hallways and in class when the teacher isn't looking. Not physical or anything, but they'll say jokes under their breath and then laugh, stuff like that. They make him uncomfortable. So Justin says that Max did it. Max says that Justin did it. And now Jamie says that Max and his friends are being mean to Justin in class, right? That's bullying. So now 2 accounts say that Max and friends are being bullies, and only one side says Justin's a weirdo, which doesn't even deny that he and his friends are being bullies. So 2 stories against 1 story, we start to learn that Max and his friends are being jerks. So that leaves us with, what do we think really happened, and which source is the most reliable? So because I had that as a question in the chat, please go ahead and write your answers down below in the comments section. And then your assignment for today, in addition to all of this being asynchronous, good job by the way, because we're basically done, is to do slides 2, 3, and 4 for your snapshot autobiography. Now, some people already did those slides. They knocked it out on day 1 and they did their events. If you haven't, now's the time to do them. If you already have, go to that assignment and say, I already did it, and just hit submit. So please, pardon me, please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you back in person, live as always, on Tuesday. Yeah, but have a great weekend. You made it through your first week of 7th grade. Good job. And